something a little bit different. I've wanted to talk about this for so long, like ages, and it's just one of those things that I've always wanted to talk about on my channel. I want to talk about like shyness, and I think a little bit of anxiety. I haven't attacked with, really big, I don't think, issues of anxiety, but I feel the two do sometimes go hand in hand. So a little bit of, anxiety, social anxiety and shyness, and kind of how through the years I've dealt with trying to overcome shyness and deal with it and, not be as shy. If you have had to deal with shyness throughout life and it kind of, you feel like it affects your day-to-day life, then hopefully I'm going to throw in some tips and ideas at the end for how it could help you to deal with it and overcome it. First, I'm just going to give you a bit of a background story about my own shyness, just throughout growing up, and what I was like and what I am still like now. So growing up as a kid, I kind of didn't really think about it even, when you're quite small. I'd just be myself and stuff. I never thought of that. I never thought, obviously, as a child that I was like really shy or whatever. But I think when it started to, when I started to get told that I was a shy person and quiet person was at school. In primary school, the main thing when I look back at me in school, and I realised when it was kind of pointed out to me a lot, was when you'd get reports. So you get a report at the end of every term and stuff like that, when the teachers tell the parents and you how you are at school and how you've done and stuff like that. And always, on every single form, it would be like, oh yeah, Samantha's a good pupil, blah blah blah, very quiet though, very shy, doesn't talk a lot. If you're a young person growing up, still trying to understand yourself, and you're kind of being pointed out by people in places of more authority than you, if that makes sense, that being shy is a bad thing, that obviously you're going to start seeing that as a negative. It's unfair that you're kind of being criticised for, I think, it's just your personality. So that went over in secondary school. I was, again, quite quiet, probably until I got to my last years of school, when you kind of find yourself a little bit more and you know what kind of people you mesh with a bit better. So, I found some people in my last years of school that I was more comfortable around, and then the people that are around me, that makes a big difference to how I act and not act, but my personality, because I feel like I can share more of my personality with the people that kind of understand me. Another thing in school that I really struggled with dealing with, something that always came up that always made me feel anxious, was speeches and talking to the class and talking to big groups of people. In our English classes, they'd do we're all reading a book, and so everyone would have to read a paragraph. I used to crap myself knowing that my turn was coming up, and I know that's probably normal, but I feel like I did more than other people, and I just was so terrified of stuttering or doing something wrong, and even worse, being assessed by talking to the class, which happens a bit more in your higher years of school. In university, when I done my course, there was a few things where you had to talk in front of 4 of our tutors. And I was about, how old was I, 20, 21 maybe, at that time. So that's still quite, not too long ago. And I literally just didn't go in. I was so scared, to go, and it was just the nerves. And it's terrible that my shyness of just literally, 5 minutes of just talking to people sat there, I lost marks in my whole uni course, my whole overall grade. It would have affected, because I honestly was just so shy to go, and I couldn't do it. I literally couldn't do it. So this is why I also want to do this video now and try to talk to some of you younger guys and girls out there that might have a problem with shyness, who at school have to do things like that. And please don't duck out of it like I did. You really, really just do it. Okay, so I'm going to get onto that later, just do it. but it's really not worth like losing marks over your shyness. And if I could go back, I would just do it and get it out of the way. So I want to talk about now tips and ideas or thoughts and advice maybe to overcome or deal with shyness. The first thing I really want to say is you're not the only one, and sometimes I'd feel like that, like going to big things or talking to people, I get so like, I work myself up to think like, oh my god, this is gonna happen. But I'm like, Sam, why are you so weird? Like, why don't you just say stuff or go to things and meet with loads of people? But I think at the end of the day, I'm not the only one that's like that. I think there's so many people out there, and I feel like it's not talked about a lot, about being shy and being anxious, or I haven't, you know, heard too much about it myself. So I just want to say you're not the only one. Even talking to shop people, asking someone for help, ordering my flipping Nando's order. Like, sometimes I'll go to order my Nando's and I'll be like, okay, it's this, this and this. Like, they might ask this. Well, they're going to ask, like, do you want pineapple on it? Like, make sure you know what to say. So I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels like that. So don't feel alone. And also, there's nothing wrong with being shy. There's nothing wrong with being a quiet person. Like, and I don't want you to think that, like, that school thing when it's like, oh, but you're quiet. And it's like, well, what's wrong with being quiet? Because it's just how you are. So there's nothing wrong with being a quieter person. If you're worried about speaking to big groups of people, start with small groups of people. Start with like two people, 3 people. Even 3 people can be daunting to talk to. I still like stutter my words and I'm like, oh god, like what should I say next and stuff, like when I'm with just a few people. But literally practice it. Get used to talking to a few more and then a few more people. And you will get used to it. Or even this might apply to when you want to ask someone in a shop about something or complain about something, is your opinion is valued. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to put across your opinion or your thoughts on something, because as like when you listen to other people and they say things which are relevant, you always listen to what they say, and everyone has an opinion. And even if you go against what all like people in a group of 3 like, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has their own opinion. Like, they all like Crocs and you don't like Crocs. I don't like Crocs. Not a big thing. If you want to say something in a group of people but you think they're all going to turn around and be like, what? I'm sure that's bound not to happen 99% of the time. And people would like to listen to you and like to hear your opinion, you know, and especially if you don't know these people, they can get to know you better, so that then they get to know more about what to say to you and, you know, how you are, how your sense of humour is. And it's just like, you know, it's give and take. So if you throw in something into a big conversation, you'll get something back and you'll feel better about it. Don't compare yourself to louder people. You guys probably know, like, Ricky's been in my videos before. He's a lot louder than me, like, in day-to-day life, you know. He's just got a really loud voice anyway. And I've had friends before that are quite a bit louder than me. But you kind of embrace that, and I think they'd embrace you as being, like, a little bit quiet. You like, everyone's different, you know. So if you kind of look at someone else that is a lot more assertive with what they say and how they put themselves across, and you kind of see that as a negative for you, and you're like, why aren't I like that? Why can't I be that confident and stuff? Don't compare yourself. Like, if you're battling with shyness, it takes a while. It can take days, months, years, you know, just to find yourself and become more confident. So don't try and just jump to suddenly be really, really confident. I mean, you can, but don't try and be something you're not just to try and match someone else. Because you're the way you are for a reason. That's how you were when you're born. That's just your natural personality. There's nothing wrong with it. Just prepare. Just think in your head about what you want to say or what you are going to say or your argument for something, or just think about it in your head. There's not really loads to elaborate on that, but just think first about what you want to say. A really, really, really big one that I really wanted to get across in this video is in any like awkward situation that you think you might come across by being shy or quieter, what's the worst that could happen? This is something that's actually helped me a lot in becoming more confident. And I feel like sometimes when you're shy, you miss so many opportunities because you feel like you shouldn't go, you're too shy to go, stuff like that. What's the worst that could happen? If you're in school and the teacher asks a question, and so many times I knew the answer to a question, and you feel really proud about it that you know the answer, but I wouldn't raise my hand in case, you know, people laughed at me or I got it wrong. If you get it wrong, what's the worst that could happen? You know, other people, everyone does it. You got the question wrong, it's like, oh, okay, sorry, I thought it was that. Also, another one that kind of goes along with what's the worst that can happen is just do it. And that's such a Nike commercial, but this applies to me. I tell myself this a lot, more so when I'm going to things like events, you know, kind of in the YouTubing and blogging world, you sometimes get invited to events and things that are going on, and so a lot of the time when I go to these things, I'm kind of like, oh, there's going to be loads of people there. There's people there that I watch or read their blogs, but I haven't met them before, and I'm like, oh, I hope I don't come across badly or awkwardly, like I don't know what to say. In the last few hours leading up to the event, I'll be like, oh God, I don't want to go, I can't do it, you know, like I don't want to appear silly. I'm just like, no, just go. Like, I make myself go. It's on the way that I get really, really shy and kind of anxious about going, but seriously, and just with everything as well, like speeches, stuff like that, just do it. And afterwards is the best feeling. Like, if you are shy or anxious about something and you do something that you're so scared about doing, it's the best feeling, and it raises your confidence, because you're like, I was fine, like what was I worried about? So many things I've come away like, that was so fun. I was just so proud of myself that I didn't back out of something, because I backed out of so many things because of it. And you just feel like patting yourself on the back. You're like, oh yeah, I can go to the next thing, and you feel like you can do it. You speak up. If you kind of get shy as well when you aren't happy with something, or someone's rude to you in day-to-day life, someone at school like that doesn't like you and you're too shy to kind of say anything back, speak up. Like, again, with like, your opinion is valued, and you need to stand up for what's right. That sounds so cliche, but don't let people walk all over you. You know, a lot of people do see shy people as, oh, I can get them to do this and I can say this to them, like they won't say anything because they're too shy or scared. You need to stand up for yourself. You're worth more than being trampled on by people. And if you're not happy with something, tell them, you know, at a shop or something. If you're served something you don't like, just say, I don't like this. You know, you're allowed to. It's not against any rules. It's, yeah. You just need to, respect yourself enough to stand up for yourself. Ending on just a little YouTube topic. If you have thought about doing YouTube and you're shy to do it, because obviously you are putting yourself out there to the world and everything, but you really, really want to do it and you feel like you have the pizzazz to do it, but you're shy, just do it. Seriously, like, it's such a good thing to do, and it really, really does help with confidence, and it's made me definitely less shy. And also, what I found is, if you're not very good at public speaking or speaking in general, make a video, just talk to the camera, you know, and get used to it. Just get used to talking to the camera. YouTube's a little bit like therapy. You get to just talk and let everything out. If you're ever feeling angry or you know, you have a lot of emotions, just sit and talk to the camera. And it sounds really silly, but you don't have to upload it to the internet. You don't have to upload it to YouTube. Sometimes just letting it out helps. So you could make a video on something, just on beauty or, you know, whatever, and it could come out as a success or a failure, but at least you've tried. A last thing, I know I probably should have said this at the beginning, but I know obviously a lot of you are going to think, how are you shy? Like, how are you a quiet person? Because you're like on YouTube, you do so many videos and stuff like that. I always say to people though, because when I tell people I'm shy, they're like, what? But seriously, all I'm doing and what I've been doing for so long is just talking to a piece of machinery. In an empty room, like there's no one here. I could just go crazy, do you know what I mean? Like, no one's here that's gonna laugh at me, and there's just like freedom from like people. So it's really easy, I find, to just talk to the camera. And after a little while though, it's the response from people and talking to people, communicating on social medias and stuff like that, that does make you feel like you are talking to people, but it's still, at the end of the day, you're alone. So it's kind of, you get both. It is kind of talking to people, but then it's not, and you can just be yourself in front of a camera. So the battery's flashing, so I've really got to go. I really, really hope that's helped some of you. If you have any more questions about shyness, confidence, anxiety, leave it in the down bar. I will try and reply to you guys. Also, I have to say, I've wanted to do this for a long, long time, and then I saw Louise from Sprinkle of Glitter done a video on happiness, which really gave me you know, like I was like, oh, I want to do it now, you know, talk about shyness. So it was thanks to Louise as well that I really wanted to upload this video and film it. So anyway, I'm gonna go. I need to shut up, this video is so long. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, and leave me any requests down below. Bye.